Alright, peace everyone, it's Black Hey Priestess. Alright, we got a little flash on here. I don't know what time it is. It's a full moon, and I've been feeling a certain way all day, and most of it is just due to just daily habitual things. It's not it's of no consequence. But I you know just wind down. Oh, peace, Petal, yes. Hey, lovely. You're so cute. I saw your profile. You're so adorable. Um, but it's a little late. It is a full moon. I just wanted to go live because I was still I still have so many like mixed emotions going on right now, and so I decided to pull a scripture for myself personally. And the scripture that came up is, if I can show y'all. Usually I like to show y'all, but here we go. Ezra chapter 9. And that's where my thumb landed. And it says here on the top, you probably can't see, but it says measures against mixed marriages. And this full moon, just like leading up to this whole full moon, you're welcome, Petal Eyes. This leading up to this full moon, the waning of it has really given me a voice, an ancestral voice to speak about the hatred of Black women and the agenda that perpetuates, the agenda against the Black race, and essentially those who have Holy Spirit, or the chosen ones, those made in the image of the Most High. And why the formula of erasing Black femininity and enslaving Black masculinity creates a satanic new world order that is spiritually based. I talk a lot about the spirituality and how phenotype, deals with spirituality as well, and how things are not just skin deep, but knowing your history and knowing your culture to understand why there's such a intense hatred of Black women right now. Why do I speak about these things? Because someone should. People are silent about it because they benefit from the hatred of Black women, or because they're too weak to speak up about it, or because they are perpetuating it. They are at the forefront of it and the agenda against the Black race. So someone needs to speak up about it, especially understanding the depth of spirituality that I understand. It's why I'm Black High Priestess, to help people understand what is going on. Because a lot of people choose to be ignorant. That's not my concern. I'm here for the people who want to know and who want to be powerful with knowledge. Another reason is because I experience it. And I experience it as a woman who gets more backlash for being outside of the margins for Black femininity in racist America. Black women do a lot to apologize for being a Black woman in order to be accepted, destroying their natural hair texture, hating themselves, lightening their skin, and other behaviors that have to deal with what the average Black woman in America goes through as a result of being a descendant of slave victims, as a result of the Jim Crow laws, as a result of being a conquered and bred race, being bred with so many genetics. But without further ado, the reason I went live instead of just kind of winding down is because I think that there's a lot of times where I talk about interracial relations, whether they be platonic, corporate or romantic or sexual. You know, I talk about the spiritual constructs behind these relationships. And I've talked about the book of Ezra in several of my uploads. But I actually literally pulled the scripture tonight, which lets me know that this full moon is beckoning me and is serving as a beacon of light for those who really want to understand why Black women are hated, why Black people behave the way they do, why Black people are so inferior, why Black people who are superior and have risen above the ashes of slavery and inferiority, and who can prove and show our true history, especially at a spiritual level, not just accepting that we were kings and queens and royalty in Africa and all that, but actually accepting that maybe Black people are the Hebrew Israelites spoken about, or at least among the tribes of the chosen ones, based on our history, based on the fact that Vodun is biblical. That's the origins of it. Ezra chapter 9, measures against mixed marriages. Once this business had been concluded, the leaders came to me and said, the people of Israel, including even priests and Levites, have not kept themselves apart from the alien population and from the abominable practices of the Canaanites, Hittites, Perizzites, Jebusites, Ammonites, Moabites, Egyptians, and Amorites. They have taken women of these nations as wives for themselves and their sons, so that the holy race has become mixed with the alien population, and the leaders and magistrates have been the chief offenders. At this news, I tore my robe and mantle. I plucked tufts from my beard and the hair on my head and sat appalled. All who went in fear of the words of the God of Israel gathered round me because of the offense of these exiles, and I sat appalled until the evening sacrifice. Then at the evening sacrifice, with my robe and mantle torn, I rose from my self-abasement and, kneeling down, held out my hands in prayer to the Lord my God. I am humiliated, my God, I said. I am ashamed, my God, to lift my face to you. Our sins tower above us, and our guilt is so great that it reaches high heaven. From the days of our forefathers down to the present day, our guilt has been great. Because of our iniquities, we and our kings and priests have been given into the power of foreign rulers to be killed, taken captive, pillaged, and humiliated to this very day. Black men, this is your legacy because you choose foreign women. But now for a brief moment, the Lord, our God, has been gracious to us, leaving us some survivors and giving us a foothold in his holy place. Our God has brought light to our eyes again and given us some chance to renew our lives in our slavery, but has secured us for the favor of the kings of Persia. They have provided us with the means of renewal so that we may repair the house of our God and rebuild its ruins, thereby giving us a wall of defense for Judah and Jerusalem. Now, our God, in the face of this, what are we to say? For we have neglected your commandments given us through your servants the prophets. You said, land which you are going to occupy is a land defiled with the pollution of its heathen population and their abominable practices. They have filled it with their impure ways from end to end. Now therefore do not marry your daughters to their sons or take their daughters for your sons. nor must you ever seek their welfare or prosperity. Only thus will you be strong and enjoy the good things of the land and hand it on as an everlasting possession to your descendants. After all that has come upon us through our evil deeds and great guilt, although you, our God, have punished us less than our iniquities deserved and have allowed us to survive as now we do, shall we once again disobey your commands and intermarry with peoples who indulge in such abominable practices? Why you not be so angry with us as to destroy us till no remnant nor survivor was left? Lord God of Israel, you are just, for we today are a remnant that has survived. In all our guilt, we are here before you. Because of it, we can no longer stand in your presence. Black men can no longer be possessed by Ogun because of this very thing. And Ogun is of the Old Testament, Vodun. It was Ogun who possessed the Hebrew Israelites to go conquer nations while all they was on is a manna diet. Black men have been cut off. Wise black women understand this. But the pain of the black woman is, where are you going to go? We have nothing. That's the plight of the black woman. Having inferior men who hate you, who disrespect you at every whim, but trying to be faithful to a God that tells you not to go with foreign men, even though they are superior. Dark-skinned, kinky-haired black women end up with white men for a reason. What you see today, what no one wants to talk about because everyone's benefiting from it, and black women are too beaten and broken down from it to even acknowledge the pain that she has to go through. So I do it for you all, because I'm strong enough to. I wouldn't call myself Black High Priestess if I didn't, but I have to show and demonstrate that I'm willing to take on the burden because I have that title. Black women are beaten down. You can see it because they hate their hair. They hate their skin. They hate their self. They do, you know what I'm saying? And they're not speaking out. Peace, Christina. They're not speaking out. You got a left out movement. You got things here and there. But where are all the white socialist women speaking out for black women? No, because what you all want to do is take black men as your sex slaves. You don't give a damn about black women. Nothing about white feminist movements have anything to do with black women, because at the end of the day, black women are still considered nannies or baby making machines or sex objects, not marriageable wives. And white women want black men, and they want the right to be with black men. So they create these socialist movements so they can intermingle with lowly people who come from slavery because they want black dick. And they want to feel better about themselves because they have nothing better to do. They don't have to work and achieve all of these things just to make a living. They're pampered and their men take care of them, so they're bored and they run around with the slaves while the slave master husbands at work on the plantation whipping them. Y'all need to watch Uncle Tom's Cabin. Brother named Carrie that I met years ago told me to watch that. And at first I was hesitant, and I felt as if it wasn't necessary for me to be a black revolutionary. And boy, was I wrong. Because now, years later, I have seen the change before my eyes, and I see everyone giving into these evil spirits to ignore it. And I see everyone mistreating black people on a regular basis the way that they do, manipulating black people, accepting black people being inferior because it benefits them, because you want to look down on black people, not telling black people the truth, not speaking the truth about history. Stop talking about all this solidarity when white people are far more racist than they have ever been, overtly, because of socialism. See, socialism allows white people to revel in their own superiority and be these white saviors, when what black people have always needed was segregation. Because that's the only way we thrive. That's the only way we get treated like what we really are people in the image of the Most High. We understand our customs. We understand our language. We understand our culture, our dances, the way we style, the clothes we wear, the things we eat. But a lot of black people in America don't understand a lot of things you do is a result of Jim Crow and slavery and segregation. And if you chose to be something other than what you are marginalized to, because they put black people in the forefront to represent black people, and black men who have fame, fortune, and wealth are made to be with white women, because if they show black couples, they would destroy the image. Cosby represented black couples. The Cosby Show. People don't understand. There's things you don't know about him and the land that he was sitting on and the resources on it. There's things people don't know about Michael Jackson's death and him buying out Sony and what having a black-owned label would have done, and songs that he made showing that he understood what it meant to be black and of Africa and what racism was. They don't really care about us. Performed in Ghana. There's things that people don't understand about this mass rodeo, and I call it a rodeo because we're talking about the rope and the noose that comes from the slavery, and the fact that even the Bible speaks, and I don't know if I can find the script, but the Bible speaks about the curse of being hung from a tree. And Judas Iscariot was one of the most popular figures in the Bible who was hung from a tree. But to be hung from a tree is a curse. And that is upon black people. That happened during slavery. So I said this rodeo of noosing black men, prominent black men who have wealth in their older age, these are rituals. Petal Eyes, how do I feel about Juice WRLD? I found out about Juice WRLD because of some of my co-workers who are themselves artists and who listen to those artists. So I will say I am grateful that a lot of people think I'm younger than I am, because as much as I learn from anyone, I think it's important that people who do keep up with media, that I'm able to engage with them, because there's some things I personally am not going to keep up with, but through relationships with others, I can still learn and understand about these things, you know what I'm saying, and bring a spiritual perspective to it. So I from what I know from my coworkers, he was an up-and-coming artist. He had a lot of, like, YouTube fame, you know what I'm saying, a lot of followers, more so, from Chicago as well. I haven't watched the news reports, but I have seen on my like on YouTube about them talking about it's possible that someone from his entourage might have been involved in it. I see a darker than a brown paper bag brother with locks. You know what I'm saying? I haven't heard any of his music as far as I know. But at age 21, I think that, again, from a spiritual perspective, we're at a full moon right now. That happened at the beginning of this week. I've talked about the way the things against black people, the hatred of black women, constantly putting at the forefront and putting things in news about how, scientific things talking about black women are the ugliest. Athletes, actors, black male moguls disrespecting black women, glorifying white women. You know what I'm saying? I've talked about that being related to satanic witchcraft, that being perpetuated by white women because they are the ones benefiting from it more than white men. But white men pimp out white women that they don't want to keep the status of white supremacy while they sleep with black women like me, the ones that they do want sexually, but will never elevate because it would elevate black men naturally. To elevate any black person is to elevate the black race. That is why there's the segregation of black people is not from white people, it's black men from black women. White women benefit the most from it, but black men benefit from pimping out their white trash women that they don't want because they lust after they got jungle fever and they lust after African looking women like me. Okay, so and what does this have to do with Juice WRLD? How do I feel about Juice WRLD? I feel that it is very possible that his death is related to the New World Order perpetuation of white supremacy through destruction of the black genetic. The insights I've been getting, having the Sedna dream. I don't know if it was Koki Yoruba or if it was another brother. I don't know. One of the brothers hit me up after I did my last upload about the Sedna dream and the black car, the black sedan picking me up, and her name was Edna. And I realized that there's a DNA thing called Edna, and it deals with environmental DNA. And I read the whole article that he sent me. But the dream I had was directly related to the subject that I was talking about, and that goddess Sedna of the Inuits, who were black Eskimos, about this black DNA and the dominance of it, and the fact that we lack nothing. We are not marginalized to hot weather. We were living in Eskimos, hunting whales, ice fishing, living on ice shelves, and who knows where. I don't know where them Inuits was. Antarctica? Were they in Antarctica? I don't want to talk about flat earth right now tonight because I want to talk about this interracial bullshit that's been going on. You all don't get it. There's a difference between black people and white people. And all of you all want to be blinded and everything. How many of you white women stand up for black women? Very few white women that lust after black men have a track record of being black revolutionaries. A lot of mixed people talk about the cognitive dissonance and the spiritual dissonance they experience because you got two ancestors running through your veins, one that's oppressing the other. And I'm just talking about spiritual things that I do for people who have mixed genetics, who know one parent is of an opposing race. When I talk about the black man's inferiority being biblical, when I talk about the black man's lust after white women being biblical, and the black man's hatred for black women being biblical, here you go, one of the scriptures. If you all read the Bible like I do, and don't make me do all the damn work, but catch up. I'm sorry, I'm not in the mood right now. It's a full moon. I'm not trying to be nice. I'm trying to get y'all the truth. For those of you who want to remove head from ass, all of you, white people, you all are so much better at sticking to your own kind than black people. So I'm not really going to address white people because white people openly, a lot of times, prefer their own. But you see, white women's bored, and they want to be better than black women, so they go manipulate black men and get some black dick. It's not that black dick is better for white women. It's an ego thing. It's no different than white men do what they do and date for color and date for this and that. It's all about ego. You don't care about your partner. You care about how you are viewed. You care about a feeling of superiority over someone else. The easiest way to feel superior over someone is to go conquer the women or the men of their race, because you can't face to face with the same sex. White women, you can't face to face with black women. You want to be black by injection. White men, you can't face to face with black men who know their self. You can face to face with black men who have an inferiority complex. White women, you can face to face with black women who have an inferiority complex. Face to face with a black woman who knows who she is and what she is capable of and who her God is. I dare you. A lot of you all, a lot of black people can't even face to face with the mirror. Because you hate yourself, you hate your God, you hate your women. Black people, if you follow me, stop what you're doing, pick up the Bible, open it, read anything, and apply it to what you do that very day. Get some power about yourself. Get some self-control about yourself. Because if you all knew the things that people of other races tell me when I speak to them in Spanish, when I speak to them about these issues, when I talk to them on a level that they can talk, because I'm educated enough to. If you all knew the things that they told me about, the things that they admit about how they view black people, the things that I hear and see. But because it's true, because I as a black person experience the same thing. I know it's true, but I just happen to care about my race, which is not smart, but it's my duty. I wasn't asked to enjoy being Black High Priestess. I was given the title. I chose to keep it. Y'all do your fucking part already. Peace and love.